This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV Prime.
Welcome. Well, what's the bet that most of you have heard of OLX? In fact, some of you could have also used this site. Joining us on the program now, Amarjit Singh Batra. He's the CEO of OLX India. This is, of course, a global online classified platform which is headquartered in the USA. Thanks very much, Mr. Batra, for taking our time to speak to us. Now, there's just so much negative sentiment there in the market at present. It's the bad news that are making the headlines, unlike, of course, what we saw in 2015 when it was all the valuations and good news and sort of really top billing given to startups. This year has been very different. We're at the end of 2016, but how would you assess the year gone by?
Thanks for inviting me for this show. My journey in internet has been for the last 15, 16 years. So this is not the last 2-3 months that I've heard negative sentiments. It's been all through the 15 years. I've seen lots of positive sentiments and lots of negative sentiments. I think the key message for all of us here is that this country is huge. This country has a big potential, and this country will eventually be big in everything that we do. The challenge is that we actually go very gung-ho about things, and sometimes it becomes overhyped, and there is always a phase of correction which happens. So I think that as entrepreneurs, I think personally I don't see these small troughs of ups and downs. I look at the bigger picture, and I believe that all entrepreneurs should look at the bigger picture, and I think the people who are serious about building long-term businesses should not worry about these things. Yes, those who are looking for short-term gains, I think it's time for them to wrap up and then maybe do something else. But I think all of us who are focusing on building long-term, I think it's a great time to be in India.
You know, the cynics would say, Mr. Batra, that this is akin to the dot-com bubble that we saw in 2000, that this is just the late 90s and that's what we are looking at. Would you agree, sir?
Yes, of course. I disagree with anything which talks about a dot-com bubble, because I first heard about a dot-com bubble in year 2000 and when I started my career in internet. And I think I've multiple times heard about this. This is not the first time we're talking about a dot-com bubble. What I think is happening right now is a correction. I think we are getting ready for the next phase. And if you look at the last 15 years, there has been 3 such phases already. You know, one was the year from 1999, 2000 to 2004, 2005, the first half decade. After that, in which you saw lots of great companies come up, and they're still surviving, and some of them actually turned up to become listed. And then there was a second phase, which was 2005 to 2010, which saw another wave of companies come in, which you see today. Lots of them are thriving also. And 2010, 2015 has been the third wave. I think the next wave, we are in the cusp of a fourth big wave. The difference is that for every wave to start, first I think it recedes and then builds up. So I think the build-up will happen over the next few months or a year. I don't know exactly what time. But I think the next 5 years would be exciting, more exciting than the last 15 years.
You've been with OLX now for the last 7 odd years. What's been the most rewarding aspect of the journey so far, and what's been the most challenging? I would imagine that there have been, of course, lots of all kinds of moments, but just highlight some of these for us.
The most rewarding part for me personally, as well as everybody in my team here, has been when you prove something wrong. And I think we actually, when we ventured into start in a business in which we were trying to build a C2C trade, and that too for pre-owned items, used goods or second-hand goods, I think a lot of people thought this is not a big business. A lot of people said that this is not something that Indians are used to doing. We don't do this. It will not happen. And I think over the last 4-5 years, I think we have kind of surprised not only ourselves, but surprised the whole industry, that how if you focus on something, if you focus on creation, rather than competition. You focus on solving customer barriers. You focus on creating the latent need and turning it into a proper need. I think things can happen for you. And I think that's been the most rewarding moment personally for me. And I think the challenges that I see in this for us overall is to continue to do this because we are still on the part of a journey. We came in from nowhere to become market leaders in online classifieds today. But I think for a big journey for us is to go forward and continue to do this because India is still an underpenetrated market. I mean, we already have about 300 million users, internet users, out of which maybe 120 million would be active. So how do we kind of take the same propositions to all our countrymen and be able to give them the same experience which certain smaller internet users are getting? So that I think continues to be my challenge actually.
Right, and I've always wanted to know, how does the Indian customer compare to those in other parts of the world? That's of course important to hear from you because you have a presence in other parts of the world, and I want to know just how we fit in. Are consumers and customers the same everywhere, or are there sort of uniqueness to each country?
Yeah, I think that is something which I can I think share a lot because we at OLX now we are part of a global network where we have about 40 countries that we are market leaders, and we learn a lot from each market. And I think there are different sets of markets that I see. One are the markets which had existing behaviors of pre-owned goods sale or used goods sale, which are countries like US or countries like Europe. And then there are emerging markets, which India is part of it, but whole of Latin America maybe, or maybe the rest of Asia and so on. These markets are different from the Western counterparts from one simple thing is that there was already an offline trade happening for used goods. In India, I think in countries like India, we have actually moved, one of my analysis is that we moved from a country of scarcity to country of abundance. So I think we are today having lots of money to spend on new goods and lots of brands and all that, but 10-15 years that never used to happen. So I think the behavior is similar, except that there's a lag time between the Western markets and our markets in some ways, and that is happening. The second thing which I see is a level of trust. I think the level of trust in these markets, which are Western markets, I think it's much more higher. In our markets, because we face so many challenges in our daily life, and I think the overall from a normal life as we see, the trust component, the trust level, I think sometimes is a bit lesser among people, and which can be a deterrent to a trade like ours. So I think we see those big challenges, and we are trying to see a similarity and differences to figure out how to kind of make this better.
I know that's something that I found very interesting talking about the Indian customer is that you did a survey, OLX did a survey which found that there's 78,000 crore worth of goods stocked in Indian homes. Now it's almost a joke now to say that Indians do believe in hoarding. We find it difficult to part with the stuff once we get it. But how do you see that? And I would imagine that for a company like OLX, this is tremendous opportunity. 78,000 crore worth opportunity.
Absolutely, and this is the survey that OLX has initiated since the last 3 years because we felt that we are into a market where we are trying to change behaviors. Let's go out and figure out how much Indian stock. And 3 years back, we started this survey, and in the last first year, it was about 30,000 crores. Second year, we found out it was 56,000 crores. And this year, we found it was about 78,000 crores. So in a way, and this is, the numbers are increasing potentially because people are getting more aware of stuff lying in their house which they don't use. And I think we have a tendency to hoard, which I think we all know about it. I think we're all Indians in a way. So I think I also hoard many things sometimes. And I think that nature is actually bringing us, is keeping us back from many things. It's clogging up our houses, it's clogging up our minds in some way. So I think unlocking that value will not only be great for individuals, but it will be also great for the country. So we feel that this survey brings triggers and barriers for why people store goods. And there's a huge amount of 78,000 crores we came up on. This was a survey done across top markets across about 5,000 residents.
So would you say that this is sort of the best time to be in the business, given e-commerce sales, of course, are looking up. In fact, they're breaching new frontier every year. Used goods sales are also up. Again, your own survey saying up 30 to 40%.
Yes, and this is the time when we are not advertising at all, but we already seen a 30-40% jump on our numbers. What we have seen is that all big purchases in this country, we have this common thing is they actually use some of the part of the proceeds from the old product to actually fund the new one. So that's why, if you look at the campaign sometime back of Purana Jayega to Naya Aayega, actually was built around the same theme, and we see that really happening today. But sometimes it's also the other way around. People are actually finding great deals sometimes on somewhere else, and they're just coming and selling it on OLX also. So I think that I see that the behavior of new and used goods are very strongly interlinked, and at OLX we see this every day.
Right now, there are, of course, lots of players in the space that you occupy in the market. How do you differentiate yourself? How important is that to sort of stand apart?
Yes, I think that's a big question for this country, and in a way, I think this is people have to realize that we are a huge market. I think, and there are very few cases where one brand has been one product has been able to capture the whole market. So by the time you are actually moving to with your proposition, there are 5 people who are offering the same thing. I think that challenge is not only in e-commerce or e-retail or something, but it's happening in everything that you do, unless you are into a product which is completely innovative and nobody knows how to manufacture that. In classified, we face the same challenge. The way we look at it is that we don't look at you don't look at people around you. You look at what problems are you looking to solve, and are you the first ones to solve it, and are you making it are you making the market consumers in a better place? Because at OLX, when we came in, classifieds were already existing. It's not that we were the first one to do classifieds, but the way we have tackled the market is not by looking at the people at the competition, but we look at the market which is completely virgin, and we look at the world as a blue ocean. We look at India as a blue ocean, and we went out there and created the market. And today we are the market leaders, but we still don't look at we look at people around us. Yes, we see what people are doing, but in the end we focus on the road task ahead. We strongly believe that a race cannot be run by looking backwards. You have to continue to look forward and kind of find your path on your own.
I can imagine that it's not possible to police the internet all the time, but one criticism of companies like yours, those involved in the kind of stuff that you do, are the fact that there are often wildlife sales up there, there are prohibited goods that are up there on sale. Now, like I said, not possible to keep a close eye on what people are posting at all times, but how can you crack things like this? Because they do become bad news headlines, and they do raise a lot of concern.
So what we do is that we do many things actually. First of all, our businesses as such, I think, and few people actually misconstrue the business model. We are actually a matching platform. We bring the buyers and sellers together, and we offer them an efficient platform to trade with each other, and the trade happens offline. So, so what happens out there is that what people sell and what people buy is effectively their responsibility. We want to offer a platform which can offer you scale, so that every Indian, can benefit from this, huge platform and make things better for them. But while we do this, we obviously need to keep this platform clean from any content which is not right. And we have a huge team which focuses on all content which comes on the site, and we kind of clean it up in case we feel it is wrong via filters, via manual checks. So that's the first big thing that we do. The second thing is we do a lot of education. So on a site also, we educate users that you should not pay money in advance, you should not give the goods unless you have the money, and so on and so on.